poor state of public roads has become an issue for debate, and government's plans to upgrade roads is still in the pipeline. Suspected link of the Zika virus and babies born with deformations has health ministries on the alert, issuing travel precautions for pregnant women. The new primary school was open for public viewing at a special open day event held yesterday. The state of the island's public roads has been a matter for debate, even reaching the Legislative Assembly. The age-old problem has raised concerns that roads are appearing more degraded, with scattered potholes, especially in areas on the northern side of the island. Road maintenance is the responsibility of the Civil Inquiry Division, who were formerly part of the Public Works Department, but following the public sector restructure, it is now part of government's state-owned enterprises. According to the Director General for Infrastructure and Utilities, Andre Siohane, the department's job is to inspect and supervise work done by the Civil Inquiry to check for quality, but the actual maintenance is done by Civil Inquiry. An assessment of roads was done last year to get estimates of costs to reseal all of the roads on the island that are due for an upgrade. A member of the Niue Assembly has spoken out about the need to resolve this issue.
I spoke up very strongly because nothing seems to be done, and the roads are in such a state that if you try to dodge one, you go in another hole, and these are really affecting the people's vehicles, and especially the smaller cars, the tyres, and all the suspension is chopping out, and people are having to pay for this. So it doesn't matter if you give people a pay rise to help do those costs. Those costs are going to continue, and they're big costs. And a lot of the suspension parts can't be flown up because they're gas filled, and they've got to come on the boat. So there's a big delay time for those to come, and that means that we've got to outlay cash to get those products up here. Some of those holes are really deep, and even if you slow down, it still will damage the tyres and the suspension as well, because you're not just doing one and then you go another couple of miles down the road and get another one. It's within the metre there's another hole and another hole. So that's not true. And as I say, the Premier's all right and the Minister's all right because they're using government vehicles and they don't have to pay for the repairs. So they've cut across the road with the water and the power and the telephone, and they haven't repaired those. And of course now that those gaps are getting bigger and bigger, and especially going towards Mootalau and up that way to Toi. So, again, we seem to be jumping from one job to the other without finishing the job and then moving on to the next one.
These views have been raised within a motion put forward by Mr. Coe in this week's Assembly meeting for several reasons, but mainly to prompt some action.
It's impossible to do it in 4 days, so you need 5, but even at the moment that would be a struggle unless you increase the gangs that are working on the roads. And so that the other point was that the quarry and civil people are not public servants. They're under the auspices of the bond store and the development bank and those, which is private sector. And they shouldn't be having the 4 day a week anyhow. Plus, they've had a bonus, they've got a pay increase, and they've got the bonuses, and they're still only working 4 days. It's really wrong when other people, are struggling to complete their work in 4 days as well.
Although this motion was defeated, he hopes that it is something government may consider. There are also a few minor details that need to be sorted, but plans for a complete makeover and resealing are part of government's plans, but this major project would require a substantial amount of funding. Recent reports of a link between the Zika virus and babies born with microcephaly has raised concerns and prompted increased precautionary travel advisories from health ministries. The Zika virus is spread by mosquitoes similar to dengue and chikungunya. It has been linked to thousands of babies born in Brazil with deformities. Since 2014, there has been an increase in confirmed cases of dengue, chikungunya and Zika in many Pacific islands, including the Cook Islands, French Polynesia, Fiji, New Caledonia, Samoa, Tonga and Vanuatu. Samoa has reported 3 cases of Zika virus, with 1 being exported to New Zealand, and Tonga has confirmed their first case of Zika virus this week. New Zealand's Ministry of Health has issued advice that while pregnant women are being encouraged to avoid travel to affected areas, those that must travel are being urged to take precautions. The Niue Health Department has not issued any travel restrictions, but continue with their normal surveillance updates regarding dengue, chikungunya and Zika virus. The message for people on the island, especially those who travel abroad, is to be aware of the symptoms of these mosquito-borne diseases that are in the Pacific and to take the necessary precautions to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes. The Public Health Division has ongoing campaigns encouraging people to destroy breeding areas of mosquitoes that are the carriers of these diseases, as well as their ongoing planned vector spraying and other awareness programs. Yesterday morning, Niue Primary School was open to the public for the first time. Parents and students were buzzing with excitement as they observed and toured the new school after all the formalities were over. Minister of Education, Honourable Pokotoa Sipili, says that after 3 years of discussions, negotiations and planning, what was once a dream is now a reality. The Niue government has made contributions to the school by providing a fibre internet cable connecting the Niue High School, the University of the South Pacific, that will also lead to the Niue Primary School. Government is also supplying laptops, computers, televisions and other educational resources. The builders of Arrow have also graciously sponsored 2 playgrounds for the students to enjoy, one located in the middle of the playing field and the other in the Early Childhood Centre vicinity. The Niue Primary School Principal Itzi Tuitonga hopes that the new school will give students and teachers a renewed and refreshed outlook on education for years to come, and that all the brand new resources will be used and maintained well. According to Principal Tuitonga, the new location of the school was also chosen as a precaution to shelter and protect the students as well as the school from tropical cyclones, strong winds, especially during cyclone season. This now completes what has been described as Niue's educational hub at Paliasi, with Niue High School and the tertiary institution USP just next door. Niue Primary and Niue High School is expected to start school next week on Monday. And that concludes our news bulletin for this evening. Do join us again for our next news bulletin next week.